Hello, and welcome back to session 79 of our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign. How's everyone doing?
Doing good?
Ready to rock and roll.
Thanks for coming, y'all. So, let's just get straight into it. If everyone's got their drinks and whatever else they might need.
Yeah.
Chamomile tea this evening.
What's that, chamomile tea?
Chamomile tea.
Oh, damn. Going hardcore on us.
Only hardcore here.
Yeah.
Slam it back.
I know.
Last we left off, we last left our heroes in the city of Lenora, after you all helped drive the invading armies of House Kaidus, Caden, and Ignis away from the Emerald City. In the fighting, you defeated Dair and Kaidus, who faced you all down on the dam to the city. Cyan dealing the killing blow, of course. And after the battle was over, the Tempest Brand, led by High Inquisitor Kesslin, demanded that Henning be put to trial for the alleged murder of his father. I say alleged, Norman Dyer, before the day was through. But although Prince Horthysius agreed that a trial was important, he told the Tempest Brand to can that for now, and that the elves would hold the trial in the Sidan way, putting it to the Padrin to decide. So they set the trial date for a week, and the High Inquisitor shuffled away, and Prince Horthysius' eyes were then set on another, Cadell. So telling Cadell he had been witnessed entering the Prophet's tomb during the siege, and finding the Prophet's memory stone within his bag of holding, Prince Horthysius struck him down where he stood, enraging many of you.
Ooh.
However, after the crowds parted, and after you took his body somewhere private, he transformed before your very eyes. Being drawn back to life, his entire body reformed, Cadell was truly dead. The figure who rose before you introduced him as Vasiri, another one of Tarash's reincarnations, I guess you could call it. You then caught up with Morna and took her to the Whisperleaf Collective's temple, where descending below to where Calcifer found Dawnweaver, you realized that the pool in the cavern was vibrating, creating a pattern. Translating the pattern, you realized it was the faint remnant of the trespasser talking to you. She told you that there was a second weapon named Moonbreaker, which was buried somewhere within the city of Nivorlus. By collecting both weapons, the soul gates can be controlled and hopefully able to bring her back. Morna also suggested trying to capture one of these gloom stalkers and seeing what information can be gleaned from them. So I guess whilst you're still there, Morna stands from aside the pool and says, well, I think we've learnt what we must. It's time to get some rest. It's been a long day. If you wish to stay aboard, the fleet, you're welcome to. There's space.
I may pick you up on that offer.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool. So Morna leads you. Well, I guess you lead Morna back out of the cavern, back through the Undercity. And back towards the ships, where upon re-entering, you're shown to some private cabin quarters that filled with hammocks, places to put some of your luggage, some empty chests, and yeah, you can do what you like. So it's getting late. Yeah, so they're still in the air. They're hovering above the palace of the Prophet at the moment. Okay. But feel free to do whatever you need. So what do people want to do? Do you want to just get some rest and come back at it the next day? Or?
Is there? Sorry. I think before we get stuck into things, it might be good to find a lawyer if they exist here tomorrow.
I mean, they do exist.
And maybe discuss next steps somewhere that's completely private.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of... I've never come across a Tempest Brand outside of their dealings here, so I don't know what kind of dirty tricks they would want to follow up on.
I've heard the Tempest Brand. Well, I've read about the Tempest Brand, and they're actually very nice and pious, and always fair.
Those things don't usually go together.
It is
No.
a joke. And
Well, that's what it says about them in my book of all fates.
it is very wrong.
they write it?
Who
I
Always
think
accurate.
I don't think that book is very accurate, Mona.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was written by the Lord Ecclesiarch of Lavar.
was that?
Me-
No, it may well have been if they're saying that. In it.
Maybe respectfully, Henning, maybe your opinion on the Tempest brand as of right now is a little suspicious.
Well, I suppose.
Huh. What about mine, huh? I mean, I grew up around the edges of Lavar at the very least.
You, on the other hand, completely valid.
Thank you. I feel validated.
Yes, that's what you needed from me specifically to validate your opinion.
I do it.
Mona says, if you're interested in a lawyer, Sax is trained.
But he's not trained in elf law.
But he does understand the Tempest brand, no?
True, but I am well trained in elf law.
Is it normal in actually? I can ask. Would they could you have more than one lawyer here?
So elves don't really like. It's not very often elves have lawyers. Like,
we could do
so
that.
I meant LORE.
Laura. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could help Miss Sax prepare, maybe.
If you want to act as Henning's lawyer, there's not like a bar exam in Adana to pass, so pretty much
Yeah.
anyone could do that if they wanted to.
If you think you're up for it, Anera. then-
Well, I seeing as it's elf law, if Sax is willing, I would like to help as a secondary lawyer rather than me doing all the work.
I see.
What would the responsibilities of the secondary lawyer be? Mona asks.
Paperwork, feeding letters between councils, the casework stuff, no?
So he could say something about the law, and I would say,
I object.
I would say that's not what
Objection.
happens in elf society, especially for the patron as the one. I know some things about the patron as well. I just think I could help Sax prepare for the.
You could pass him notes.
No, I don't mean like during, but yeah, I want to help.
Like some prep.
Yeah, help him prep. Thank you.
Mona says, as far as I'm aware, isn't it just the patron? It's going to be the patron's opinion.
I know, and I know how to sway the patron's opinion.
How
think
would you
it's-
wait, how would you sell him this pen?
I would say, look, this pen, this is too much pressure. This pen is the best pen that ever. It would make you very powerful, because he's 5.
I heard
child.
you ask them for their autograph first, and then when they don't have a pen, voila.
Oh, don't worry, you can have this pen. Yeah, that's a good one. No, I just mean, I just want to help. Okay, Meta. I was hoping that I could just help do a society role, help
That's
any
fine.
things, and now it's just a big thing.
Make a society check.
Thank you.
Yes,
For
yes,
help
you're gonna
as
get
an
poison
aid for
snacks.
Sax.
He's going to poison him his breakfast in the morning of the trial. Go, oh no, Kinira's going to have to do it now.
Wait.
And I also have
Nera's got a
genealogy.
phoenix.
Oh
Ah.
no.
I also have genealogy and the Sidenara as my law skills.
So the number one thing is that you know that elven law is not necessarily just. It is what the Padron says goes. So the most important thing is whether it's the Padron or Prince Horthisius judging that you're on their side or they're on your side. Whatever you can do to make that happen is going to make your case easier.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think-
we should go to see the patron and remind him that we saved his life.
I need to speak with Holthisius anyway.
You're
Maybe
you're,
I-
you're meant to you're meant to see him in the morning anyway. So that you've set up a meeting with him tomorrow.
What's his favorite food?
Prince Orthisius.
Both. Him and the
Uh,
patron. Hope it's not blood. I hope we saved his life.
The patron sounds like
I'm
his
not sure
favorite
you-
food's blood. We need to
I'm-
stake him.
I'm not sure you know them well enough for that. To know
Yeah.
that.
Wouldn't be like
Probably some sort of hunted game or something.
not
Or at least for probably Prince Orthisius.
fresh, powerful hexweave flower.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
Um,
Like those RPGs where if you give them their favorite food, they like you more.
Yeah. You could try and sneak into the kitchen and find out. I don't know.
no.
We
Okay.
also need to make sure that Vance doesn't do anything stupid.
I'll handle Vance. Then you worry about that.
Okay.
What's going on with that? You acted very strange last time you were with Vance.
When I was with Vance. Well, I don't recall.
Wait,
When
were
you,
we
Strange
privy to that? I
how?
think we were.
you were definitely standing there staring at them both arguing. But
Yeah.
you couldn't see Vance, I think, and it just looked like Henning was talking to him.
You seem to be quite disparaging of Vance, no? He did not seem too pleased.
Look, we had a little bit of a falling out, but it's fine now.
Falling out over what?
Um, con- uh, uh,
Henning?
Control?
control, I guess.
Oh,
Mm.
Henning.
I just
what
don't
did
think
you
it was fair.
do?
I just don't think it was fair that Vance had as much control as he did, considering it's my body.
Sorry, I didn't know that Vance had any control over your body, to be honest.
I mean, in a way.
Right.
Okay. And
So
we're
we
certain he's
don't
not
know.
going. We're certain he's not going to try and feel upset about that and try and fuck with you during the trial.
Well, I'll discuss it with him. I'm sure we'll come to an
Get the sword into perhaps Prince Althisius's hands.
Could we ask Vance this question?
Yes, let's ask Vance this question.
Vance doesn't appear.
Vance isn't home right now. You'll have to,
He
you'll have
says
to ask
maybe.
later.
Does he have a secretary or
That's me. I'll take the message.
you're Vance's secretary?
Sort of secretary slash
No, we're gonna call you the secretary now.
fine. But anyway, Vance won't be a problem.
Okay, Morna says. She says, "I'm gonna go." Have a good night, all of you. I don't know who Vance is, but anyway.
It's fine. It's fine.
A demon inside my head.
Right.
Haha.
Aha.
Haha, what a good joke.
She waves it off. She's heard some weird stuff before. She's gonna leave.
Mona, before you go, you got any
Yes.
lead-lined rooms around here?
The whole ship is lead lined.
Oh,
These gnomes know their
Whoa,
business.
This
very
is a
heavy
red
boat.
villain.
It's lead lined. It's not made of lead.
Yeah, but let's. Okay.
it's a zeppelin.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Did you think that this boat was light? This ship was light. It's made of like solid oak.
Well, it's
And
in
iron.
the sky. I didn't know how light it needed to be.
You
Oh,
have
yeah,
to you'll have to ask the
flying on
gnomes
a-
about that one.
Flying boat.
Yeah, you'll have to ask the gnomes about that. The specific intricacies about how they got this thing to fly, but at the very least, I'm glad it does.
I think it would just hurt my head.
I mean, I can fly, and I'm not very light.
Well, that's because you have spells. I don't think this is spells. It could be spells, but I don't think this is spells.
Slight divergence of the topic. Mona's gone now, is she?
She's leaving, yeah. She's gone.
I really want to know what is in Kader's drawer.
Yeah, but
Well,
are
his
we
drawers.
allowed to leave the city?
You are not. I am. Well, Henning is not.
I think it's just me that's not allowed to.
We should probably double check that with Holthisius in the morning.
Yeah, he said that you guys can leave the city as long as
Okay.
Henning doesn't. Henning's on the naughty step for a week.
I am not in a good mood with Prince Althisius, and I would not mind not seeing him tomorrow.
That's valid.
So I do not mind going out for a bit of a walk. I really want to know what is in there.
Nyx appears. She says, if you do decide to leave the city, just be careful. The Gloomstalkers will be arriving tomorrow.
Well, I plan to do it in the morning, no? I have, I think, a bit over a day, I was told.
It'll take you time. It will take you a day to get there and back.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
if I hired a horse?
Yeah, I think you could probably. It's 25 miles to Lunarion, so you could probably, if you hightail the horse there and back, you could probably make it in a day, for sure.
I will do that. Would anybody like to join me?
I have words with Holthisius to do, so I need to stay here. Henning can't.
And Eric,
I
could you
don't think
not?
Nick-
Could you not just get us there and back with teleports?
Hanira could.
Has it been? Have we had a long rest?
No, this is you've
about
been.
normal.
Yeah, you're about to. So you can
Yeah,
prepare it for the next day.
Should we
I
do
mean-
it after the meeting with Holthisius?
Oh, you're not making me see that spineless elf.
It's too stealth look.
Keep in, mi-
Stealth look there in black.
keep in mind, it's still under Kaida's control, right? Whatever that means.
There's likely to be Ignis troops probably camping out in Lunarion until they're forced out by the army.
I think if somebody on their own could sneak out, they do not know any of us by name.
Oh, they do might know me by name.
Or not sneak, we could just. I do not see why we could just not. Somebody could just not go through.
Yeah, you should be like in a small group or like one person should be able to just sneak in there and get what you need. The chances of there being like a big force there is unlikely. Like the army's scattered now, so they're just going to be spreading out. But a few of them might be like hiding for cover in some of the buildings.
Yeah, they're not. But they're like they're not looking for a fight, right?
No.
They're on the back foot. They're trying to keep low profile.
Yeah.
Exert control.
Ideally, they just want to get home. I think probably.
So Hanira, you feel free to teleport. I guess we could do it after the meeting if that is the case, but I do not mind going on my own if you want to spend a slot.
Well, I could teleport you there.
Ah.
And your horse.
Okay. I will hire a horse as long as it is allowed to be teleported. I do not know if there are rules
I will
against
check.
that type
Yeah,
of thing.
I will check. I think it's as long as it's okay. It's the creatures.
Well, the horse was not willing.
The horse is not willing.
Oh, where are we?
Is the horse unable to be willing if it doesn't understand what the magic is?
I don't know.
I generally speaking, like if it trusts you and it's not trying to get away, it'll just go along with whatever you do.
I
Okay.
don't have to be willing. Anyway.
Teleport the unwilling.
That sounds kind of terrifying. The implication.
4 targets. Either willing creatures or... Oh, it has to be willing creatures or objects. The size of a creature.
A horse is a creature. Right?
Yeah, a horse is willing as long as it's not like trying to get away from you.
I will give it an apple before we do it.
Okay. And it can go up to 100 miles.
Great. I should be back by mid-lunchtime.
Great.
Cascus does not hear the sarcasm.
Yay!
All right. Is there anything? Any last bits you want to do before you get some rest?
You were all a bit interested in what happened earlier. Do you want to know now?
Oh.
Or
Yeah,
would you
actually, we might as well discuss that tonight, given the whole lead situation. Yeah, I was a bit worried to ask out there. So,
My My father, a horrible man.
Oh no.
This is a lovely way to start it. Please don't start your testimony like that.
Yes. He was, yeah, he treated me very badly throughout my childhood, especially after my mother died. And then on that night, I could hear him arguing in the lab with someone. I don't know who it was. But after that he left, my father decided to smash up the entire lab in a fit of anger. When I tried to stop him, he hit me. And in a moment of anger, I decided to stab him with a piece of broken glass. Repeatedly. I then took the book, went to Lavar, got the first book to Adana. And that's basically it. That's all that really happened.
Okay. So
That
there's
is-
some problems.
So yes, I am guilty of what they say, but we need to try and prove that I'm not.
Honestly, I wish you had just not told us.
I can't be your lawyer anymore.
Now I have to use my deception roll instead of my persuasion. No, I'm joking.
And if you're going to ask if I feel sorry or remorse for it, I do not.
Right.
Horrible
That's not
man.
your path.
I
You're
Horrible
fitting
man
well
who
with that.
deserved it.
Well,
I
I'm
think
sorry, go on.
I think you're valid to not feel bad.
Hmm.
Sounds like a dick, if you ask me, if I'm allowed to say.
Oh, he was a dick.
Okay.
I felt a great relief. Like a weight had been lifted from my shoulders when he died.
Okay, might want to
How old?
examine that.
How old were you?
Well, this wasn't that long ago. This was just before I came to Adana.
Like 6 months ago.
Let's get about 6 months ago then.
If he was,
Yeah, it's
if he
probably
was,
it's probably like maybe about a year ago.
if he was such a massive prick, why were you still living with him?
Because I had nowhere else to go. Really.
Families
I mean,
like that.
coming here was a kind of a shot in the dark. Didn't really have a plan once I got here, but fate had it that I would end up here.
Who is your father? I do not understand this lab. What was going on?
He was just an alchemist, like what I was. That's where I got my training from.
What did he do that was so horrendous that you felt that caused him to have this,
I don't know,
to rage?
but it was an argument between him and someone else. I'm starting to think that the Tempest brand being here might mean something.
Yeah, they did say that he was very important, so I don't think he was just another alchemist.
It must be something to do with the book. I think they only are interested in the book. There must be something in there that they want.
So
The
do you
book
still
you
have
don't
the book?
have.
No,
No. What?
Vera has it.
Oh yeah.
Did you learn? Have you read the book cover to cover multiple times? Do you know?
I tried. There were a couple of pages missing, which might explain what they're looking for. I have a feeling they're after something very dangerous, very powerful, but I don't know exactly what it might be. But for
Is
what
there-
it's worth, my father was an extremely talented alchemist, so he probably has conjured up something that shouldn't be getting into the wrong hands.
Where was he working?
Port Dalron.
Ah,
where I live.
what was his business's name?
He didn't have a business.
Oh, never mind.
Well, it wasn't really a name as such. I mean, he did run the alchemy shop, but it didn't really have a name. It was just the alchemy shop.
I've been to Potaro many times. Maybe I've come across him.
Possibly. His name was Norman.
Wait, sorry, he ran the alchemy shop.
It's like the body shop.
Yeah. You go in and yeah.
Might have
That's where you
been,
get your new body from.
Yeah.
but whatever it is they're trying to find from that book, I do think we should let them get it.
Is there a way to get the book before the trial?
No, unless you can find Vera in the next week.
Where did she go last?
So the last you saw her, you blew up her boat in
Yeah, I remember that.
Calrius, and
So-
then you heard that she was working with what's his fucking name? That
Yes, is it?
he
Orpheus?
was oh yeah, John Orpheus, and she was part of his fleet. And then the
Yeah.
last you heard, that fleet was mostly destroyed by
By them.
in the battle.
Yeah.
With the Adana Merchant Company.
Well, I thought it was the Tempest brand as well, though. There.
Yeah, the Tempest brand were there, yeah, as well. But you have no idea. You haven't heard of her since then, or like where she might be, or whether she survived it, or whether she's at the bottom of the ocean.
She might not even be stuck in this realm with her.
The Tempest Brand might also already have the book.
Well, no, because they were asking for the book
Yeah.
last time.
Okay.
So they're definitely hunting for it. That can't be a good fit.
They sent a lot of resources if they're coming after this book.
It obviously means a lot to them.
Really?
Can we try scrying on the book or on Vera?
You can try.
It's a good shout.
Although I don't know if you can do it in this room. It's lead-lined. Can
Ah.
you scry out of?
Well, we've got a week.
lead-lined room?
You go on the deck. The deck
Thing
of
is,
the
I
ship,
am
the
not
deck of
allowed
the
to
ship
leave.
is not lead line.
I'm not allowed to leave this city. Something tells me Vera's probably not here.
It could be interesting to know if she is within the gloom, no? That would be a good start.
It would. It would. And I personally would like to track down that book anyway.
And
So I think
Vera.
scrying is only creatures.
Okay.
So it need to be
Mhm.
Vera.
And you need Vera's name.
Don't we have that?
That might
got-
not be
have
her
you-
name.
Have you got her full name?
I don't know. What if somebody has like a secret middle name they don't usually tell their friends? You know?
There's power in a name. FYI.
I'm pretty sure you just need the name that they go by. Oh, sorry. Let's just try and put it in the chat.
Did you ever meet Vera in person? I don't think you did.
I think we
I didn't.
got into like we were cornered at some point trying to save Henning.
I'm pretty sure that was with Cobb, not Vera.
Oh, okay.
Cobb was the quartermaster that I think you killed him.
No, I remember we were stopped at one point, I think by Cadell. Or it could be someone else.
No, Cadell wasn't there.
We were stopped at one point before the fight could get too out of hand.
I think didn't Cadell turn up and be like, he just talked his way to them releasing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
If you want to try and scry, you can. I'll let it.
I can't do it now or tomorrow, so
Okay.
it's not very helpful.
You've got a week until the trial, so the trial is thingied in for the 34th day of summer.
Yeah. What I would like to do now is teach Henning some spells
Okay.
from my spell book, like teleport for no reason, scrying, and wait, what's your highest level spell? 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Dimension Door.
Can you just do that?
For no reason at all. Yeah, it takes a while though, because I have it in I have a spell book because I have
Yeah.
a thing that gives me a book, so I could.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure. I will have a look though. But we have a week, so.
All right, so you're gonna get some rest. Yeah.
Oh, one more question to bring up while we're in here. If odds don't look good for the trial, do we, and Casper just kind of gestures looking upwards.
Oh, that's difficult.
Fly.
Scarpa.
Of course.
I would prefer that to be Plan Z of
Yeah.
all things.
Yeah, I don't want to kill our relationship with the elves,
Yeah.
Well,
but
they don't want us, do they?
we are going to the gloom.
Yeah, and if we aid Henning escape, that would, you know, look quite bad on us.
This is why
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach them to Henning, so he can do it to leave himself.
There's still the risk of, you know, guilty by association.
They might
I
also
don't know
make
if
him
that's
show
a
up
thing.
in manacles and that sort of lot.
Yeah, they might
Well,
have.
what is the alternative? We let him rot in some jail at the hand of the Tempest brand?
Of course not, but
Nick says, well, the alternative is Henning takes accountability for what he did.
that,
No,
I
that is a
don't
silly
think that's a
idea.
good idea.
That is a funny one, Nick. Should make me laugh sometimes.
I
Okay,
mean,
she disappears.
maybe don't be so rude to her next time, please.
Rude? I was not rude. It was funny joke. I laughed. I was complimenting her, no?
I mean, you have
No?
also laughed in some very weird circumstances involving people's skin being melted off their bodies. So,
When was that? When was that?
Just assume that's every time you melt
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah,
skin off their body.
yeah, there's been a few times where Cascus is just setting people on
Yeah,
fire and
yeah,
laughing
even
maniacally.
Yeah.
Try living in my world. I cannot see beyond 30 feet and everything looks like it is smoking 10 cigarettes a second.
It's a cigarette.
10 pipes a second.
10 pipes a second.
Damn, that's a lot more. Right.
Well, all right. So you managed to get settled down in bed. The rocking of the ship as it just floats above the city sort of lulls you to sleep. You get your first night of restful sleep in what seems like a little while. Waking up the next day, I should say, kind of the same. It looks exactly the same outside as when you fell asleep. It's hard to tell what the time is at any particular moment because of the lack of sun or moon or stars or anything. Just the gloom overhead. But you awaken fully rested on the 28th day of summer. What's the first thing you want to do then?
Running these spells.
Oh, teach Henning those spells.
It takes
What
an
is-
hour per spell, and I have 3 I want him to learn.
Okay. Henning, I guess you and Henning could stay back, and if you don't want to go to see Prince Althisius whilst doing that, otherwise you probably want to head there.
Okay,
before
we'll
doing
do that later, yeah.
The trial is earmarked on the calendar for the 34th day of summer.
Awesome. Hanira, if I go get this horse, would you be able to meet me just before you head off to the council meeting?
No problem.
Wonderful. Cascais will go and hunt a horse.
All right.
With a
So
spear.
Yes.
So a lot of the stables are still occupied by soldiers, guards, people trying to get back a lot of their horses, which were commandeered by the army during the battle. There are also a lot of them are being used, but you do come across a stable where a number of mares are being held. Speaking to a guard, make a diplomacy check for me.
Cool.
I guess you're asking whether you can hire one.
Are there a few different stable places in this city?
There are, but most of them are commandeered by the military. You could always get someone with like a high rank to sort of vouch for you.
Right.
Otherwise, if you want to just ask if I guess you could just ask if they've got any going at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm only saying that so that if I roll a nat 1, I can go to another person and ask.
That's fine.
That was fine. It was a 40. That's pretty good roll.
Yeah, the guard says, "Oh well, these ones aren't being used currently. How long do you need it for?"
The day at max. It will be back in your stable by sunset. It kind of looks up if there is a sunset anymore.
Are you leaving the city?
I do not plan to, but you see, it is a personal mission from the prince himself. So
Very well. He takes out a kind of a notebook and just says, "Sign there, please."
very good.
And you sign
Um,
it,
I
and he
see.
leads you to a white-socked, brown, kind of short hair mare.
Okay. Does she have a name?
This one in your tongue is called Lace.
Excellent. Hey, look. And he kind of pats her on the side of her face.
She she nuzzles from the trough and then sort of looks at you. Her black eyes, looking like two kind of onyxes on each side of her head.
Mm.
She looks she looks healthy, able to carry you.
Hmm. Okay. All right. And as a what's the word? Has a kind of not armor, saddle thing on it.
Yeah, she has a saddle, but it's elven style, so it's probably not something you're super used to. But you've ridden horses before all over the place, so you could get used to it.
Okay. Cool.
It's more like a kind of like silk rug that's kind of just over the horse's back, with a couple of stirrups which kind of just attach straight to the horse's like a bit in the horse's mouth. So it's not like the full kind of orthady style like huge saddle with like the you can lock yourself into it. This is more for like scouting, for sort of running around the place. The Lace 5, yeah. No, it's like in Sidan, Lace is actually Clive.
Well, Gran said that. He said that as well as somewhere in Discord.
Clivius.
Fantastic. I will call you my Ghost Rider. Not really.
She sort of nuzzles into your hand for a second, lets you hop on.
Cool.
The guards stand aside, and as you start to clop down the high street, where you go?
Well, I clop on over to I guess below where everyone else is.
Back in the palace courtyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where everyone's sort of hanging out. All right. You see the rest of you see Cascus arriving at a sort of crack of dawn on a very beautiful horse, looking looking terrific on top of it.
Good morning, fellow friends.
That was quick.
In front of them.
Was that you trying to pretend to be a horse?
Nay.
Hanera, you feel a sort of weight on your shoulders. You see the phoenix coming out of your pocket for the first time in a couple of days after sleeping. Sort of nuzzling its feathers. The fire radiating off it, feeling warm. Chirp.
I snuggle with it.
It's interesting because it does feel hot, but when you actually touch the phoenix, whether it's the phoenix not burning you like on purpose or whether it just isn't as hot as it actually feels, it feels warm. It feels like a nice, comforting hug.
Nice.
Chirp chirp.
I need 7.
The phoenix
I
stares
can't
at you with
produce
evil
flame.
look.
So it can have some breakfast.
You produce what you throw it up in the air, and the phoenix sort of hops off your shoulder, flapping up into the air like a kind of unpracticed chicken, eating the tiny little speck of fire in one bite. Its entire feathers start to engulf in flame as it absorbs the power before it sort of settles down back again on your shoulder. Cheep, cheep, cheep. What's everyone doing now then, Nick says? Are we going to see Prince Althisius, or...?
Well, Anira needs to zap Cascus somewhere. And then, I guess that's the plan.
Be careful, Cascus, Nick says.
Did I just hear this right? Nix was nice to me. I appreciate this, but I cannot promise I will do the same back to you.
Be polite.
Nick turns to you, Cyan, and says, "I don't know what his problem is."
It's a long running.
He's just a bit like this.
Well, at the very least, these are my people. Treat them well. Not you, lot. I mean, I'm talking about the Gloom people.
I will, yes, I will be careful.
Very well. Nick sort of turns into a small little shadow and follows you, Cyan, on the ground. You hear a disembodied voice saying, "Right, I think we should go."
All right.
Best not keep him waiting. I think he's already a bit pissed.
If you do not hear from me by sunset, I'm probably dead. Oh, and if I am, make sure you look out for those two kobolds. They'll have a lot of money in the will from me, so be nice to them.
All right, so Cascus then clops off on his horse whilst the rest of you enter the palace. The Tower of the Keel.
I was gonna teleport him.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Wait,
So you're teleporting him to Lunarion?
Yeah.
So you're not waiting after the meeting?
Nope.
All
As
right.
we discussed yesterday, I think me seeing him would probably not be a good idea for any of us. I'm still a little bit upset over what he did to Cadell.
All right. Maybe it is for the best.
Okay, so so heading towards the tower. Oh yeah, so Hanera, so you begin to focus on the teleportation. You can teleport someone. You don't have to teleport yourself along with that, do you?
No.
Okay, that's fine. So focusing on Cascus and the horse, a small circle, arcane circle, sort of begins to appear around them. Before, in a flash of arcane light, Cascus is gone. We'll come to Cascus in a bit.
Sure.
The rest of you head, I guess, down to past the Green Hold to the Tower of the Keel. It looks a lot more of a less stressful atmosphere on these grounds. The day after everyone's gotten some rest after the fighting. Still a large number of injured, being tended to in large tents that are set up all around the palace grounds, as well as looking over into Arms Square. You also see like a number of civilians sort of doing everything they can to sort of bring water and aid and supplies to the soldiers who got injured. You assume that the morgue and the temples are going to be filled with the unfortunate who did not make it. But as you sort of approach the Tower of the Keel, you hear a woman's voice saying, "Hanera, Hanera!" Looking around, it is not Alora. It is a tall elven woman, probably in her middle ages, wearing a kind of very beautiful blue dress embroidered with gold and silk, as well as like patches of purple and gold. You recognize her, Hanera, as Zadine Haffendar, the mother of the pageant.
Ooh.
She approaches you and bows before pulling you into a big hug. Thank you so much. And
No
all of you, of
worries.
course. I heard what you did for my son. It means a
course.
lot, it truly does. If you need anything at all, please do not hesitate to ask.
If I might ask, how is your son doing?
He's doing all right. The priests have been doing everything they can. He has a lot of recovery to go. He was very low on blood. We're using all the hex weaves we can, and the most adept hex weavers we have in our arsenal. But he will survive, and he will be stronger for it, I'm sure. Please, my name is Zadine. If I can get all of your names, just for my own records.
I'm Cyan. Nice to meet you. I was also on the mission, and I did not receive a hug, and I am deeply offended. I'm kidding. It's fine.
She says, "My apologies. Our customs do not look favourably on the mother of the pageant hugging non-family
Communist?
members, and that, and men. You are the Azera, I have heard.
Yes. Hello.
Well, I never expected to have such a meeting here in the palace grounds, but thank you, and thank you. Thank you to your people for helping out in our time of need.
I will be sure to.
And please, again, if any of you have any questions or anything that you need resolved, I'm willing to do everything I can. The rest of you are, and she turns to you, Henry.
Henning Dyer.
Oh, you have the trial, right?
That's correct.
Hmm. And you are, turning to you, Calcifer.
Calcifer Amasteel. This is Hank.
Hank sort of looks up and goes, "Oh." She says, "This is a big dog."
Yeah, not quite sure what he is, but he's a good boy.
He's a
What he
champion.
is.
If your son needs any animal therapy, then he offers his service.
Is that something from Eshmelin?
I mean, maybe. I mean, like dogs could be pretty therapeutic, right? I mean, I think he's met Hank before, so he probably wouldn't just be like, "Oh fuck, a big massive dog that's going to eat me."
Cyan face pumps.
She raises an eyebrow at your coarse language.
Oh.
She says, "Well, again, thank you all. I will be in the Palace of the Prophets. Please, you don't need a meeting, set up a meeting, or talk to anyone. Just ask for me, and I'll be there if you need anything. Okay?
It's
Keep
appreciated.
safe, all of you." As she sort of nods to a couple of the guards that are with her, and they escort her back to the Palace of the Prophet. As you stand before the door to the Tower of the Keel.
Before we enter, Cyan's just gonna shoot death glares at Calcifer.
What?
Oh fuck.
What? What's wrong? What I missed?
Nothing. Just maybe mind your language before a noble lady such as yourself.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see now. Oh shit. I mean, oh fuck. I should. Oh shit. I said fuck. Oh, this is really fucking hard. How do people keep a clean mouth around her?
Nick says, "Hanera has such a dirty mouth. How come she doesn't get told off?"
Royalty.
You don't know what I put in my mouth.
Phrasing.
Excuse me.
Because, I have tact.
Also, we were talking about what comes out of it, not what you put in.
Anyway.
All right. So, entering the doorway of the Tower of the Keel, the guards that are standing by sort of step aside and let you through. As you enter the large stairway, Hanera, you haven't been here, I guess, since you last went to that meeting with Darren Kaidos, when this was his house. It has been redecorated somewhat. It's all the kind of garish statues and hunting trophies of dragons and bones and sort of pelts of animals have been torn down and replaced with grand tapestries celebrating House of Valoran, as well as the Garenia, the sort of the royal military arm of House of Valoran. Upon reaching the top, you see that the grand dining table remains the same, but all of the cutlery All of the plates, all of the cups have all been replaced with gold, denoting the royal household. As well as a number of kind of guards who are talking to Prince Orthisius as you enter. He sort of nods to them and they shuffle off, going about their business, as he looks at you and says, "Greetings, welcome in. Please, have a seat."
What kind of mood does he seem to be in, like,
Seems a lot-
towards us?
He seems jovial. He seems like he's had some rest, like the weight of the battle no longer on his mind.
Okay.
Do you sit down?
I
Yeah.
gingerly sit down.
Okay. He says, "Please, there's wine in the goblets if you wish to partake."
I take a small sip.
It's sweet, very sweet. A kind of grape that I guess you didn't know existed. It sort of tastes faintly of herbs, some sort of herbal mix, as well as it's very thick, almost like a syrup. Even after a small taste of it, you feel buzzed. It feels very heavy. Prince Orthisius sort of sits down and leans back in his chair and sort of just looks at you all without saying anything.
Finally got a good night's rest then.
I hadn't slept for 3 days before this.
Can't blame you.
Have you
But
tried
it's done
lavender?
now. Lavender, milk of the thistle, poppy seeds, everything. Nothing helped. But I can never sleep before a battle.
Interesting.
There's probably spells
know-
for that.
There are,
There
but
is.
I do not trust that sort of magic. It weighs heavily on the soul.
There is a folk remedy I'm aware of, where instead of using magic, you have someone stand over your bed with a weighty stick, and they just whack you over the head, and you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that one.
You know, my uncle used that. And, well, he's not really, he's 3 dice short of a set these days.
How many dice are in a set? He asks.
Depends on the game, I guess.
Fair enough. He says, "Right, on to business." He sort of leans forward in his chair and pours himself some wine. Takes a very large gulp. He says, "First of all, I'm here to apologize for what I did to your friend yesterday. It was
Yeah.
rash. But unfortunately, in times like these, sometimes harsh decisions have to be made. I hope you understand. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just understanding."
3 days without sleep probably didn't help.
He says, well, I guess that's all the understanding that I needed. Secondarily, I'm here to talk about the trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Bit of a shock.
Tempest Brand did not warn us about this when they first arrived. We were under the assumption that they were here to help, not to cause more issues.
My assumption was that they wanted some kind of foothold in Adana when all this was resolved. Spread the religion, standard pious stuff. And it's like, I just give like a little look to Cyan for improvement that he didn't say pious shit.
I had nod sagely.
He says, "You are all, well, except for Hanera, I suppose, more expert in human affairs. Well, and Cyan, I guess. You too," nodding to Henning and Kalsava, "are more experienced in human affairs and the legacy of the Tempest Brand. And you did try and warn me when they arrived."
Well, I do have a book I can recommend.
I can't read. He says.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, I've got that.
So I'll get someone to read it for me. How about that?
Yeah.
Humble brag from Nira.
It's very uncommon for male elves to read. By the way. So he says, so that being said, you did try and warn me, and I didn't take your warnings thoroughly. Unfortunately, there are enough Tempest Brand soldiers in this city to cause a real fuss if we were to kick them out now. So this trial must go ahead.
Especially after the siege.
He says,
Do you
go on.
do you expect to be presiding over it?
We will see how the Padron is feeling, but I have spoken to him about this, and he feels like he is going to be able to proceed. I have told him that no matter what, he is not to give an elven sentence for the crime.
Could you clarify exactly what you mean by that?
A guilty verdict for the Padron, from the Padron, would mean death for the crime that Henning is accused of.
Right. Is there not leeway? Do they not have? Can he not decide?
He can decide what he likes, which is why I've told him that it's probably best if we give, if anything, a lighter sentence.
Right.
But lighter sentence, what are we talking here?
Well, it depends on the facts of the case, which is also why I brought you here, and I need to ask you a question, Henning. And he looks at you. Did you do what they said that you did?
Kind of looks at the group.
Cyan is just sipping wine, staring at you like, I don't know, bro.
I had good reason for it.
Okay,
That makes it any better.
that could work. So from what we've spoken with in the Tempest Brand, that they are going to be treating it like one of their own trials. From what I've heard, in their law, that you can usually plead some form of self-defense, right?
I believe that's correct. Yes.
Unfortunately, in Tempest Brand law, if you then flee the scene of the crime and don't turn yourself straight away in, then you lose the right to plead self-defense. So they will be coming at this from a position of, you're a fugitive, you ran from the scene of the crime, you've forfeited your right to self-defense. But in Elven law, there is nuance. We are allowed to weigh up the facts. And even though kinslaying, murdering your own father, is one of the most heinous of crimes you can do, I'm sure the Padron will be amenable to a light sentence. Something like a year's worth of service in the Garenia, or something like that.
I do a little thumbs up to Henning.
Perhaps even. Do they do deferred sentences here?
Well, this is what I'm
Sentence.
I'm thinking, and hear me out here. We could say that your sentence is to fix the issue with the gloom. I'm under the assumption that that is your next path, correct?
Correct. We were going to be onto that anyway.
And I am
Yeah.
sure that the Tempest Brand wouldn't mind waiting a little while to see what happens.
Yeah, kind of a win-win for them, right? Either they get their death sentence, or this stuff gets all fixed. And
Cyan just pats your shoulder. There, buddy. There.
look,
He
it's,
says,
it's hard to write. It's hard to write.
He says, I have spent 7 years in Rajarana. I've heard much worse language than you could possibly hope to use.
Okay, that's a relief.
I am not some noble elf who's never lived outside the palace. I've travelled with many.
Yeah, press X to down.
Well, you know he has just spent 7 years literally on the front lines of the Garania in Rogerana. So.
Okay.
I know,
Okay.
but this was more Hanera's. Hanera's a way more rugged elf, and also
Yeah.
I bet he was in a fancy tent.
Yeah,
with
it
a
was,
nice
it was
cushion
definitely.
and a nice bed.
Yeah,
not
it was definitely a
sleeping
fancy tent.
sleeping in ditches. Shut up,
Yeah.
Or
Holdnicius.
cozy cabin.
You don't know what it's like to live rough.
It's specifically called a cozy cabin, right? Sounds quite nice.
So does that seem amenable to you? If we can make that work?
Sounds pretty ideal, to be honest. I suppose that's
Yeah.
not for me to. So petting.
Seems fair. I don't know how the Tempest brand will react to that sentence, but we shall see.
You will have to plead guilty, though. And the
Okay.
Tempest brand will still wish to put out their evidence in order to sway the Padron's sentence, but this is between us, of course. Don't let them know that we're having this conversation.
No, of course.
If the Padron was not feeling up to the trial on the day, are we sure the council would be willing to take up that idea?
We would have to put it to a vote. And the council would then decide. But we have enough votes. They see you, all 5 of you, as special interests to our state, and although you are not above the law can be melded in times of crisis.
Well, this is all a bit of a relief.
That's if the Tempest brand doesn't kick up a huge fuss.
They can kick up a fuss if they like, but they are guests in our house. And they will have to wait for you to leave to rearrest you, where it is out of our authority.
So you just have to spend eternity in Adonet.
Well, I wasn't planning on returning anytime soon, to be fair.
But it is down to you whether you wish to take this deal or if you wish to fight the evidence that they have. I'm not sure what evidence they have yet. They might have nothing, and if so, they'll not be able to prove anything.
I would like to hear the evidence first before I plead.
Unfortunately, they're playing it very close to the chest. That's a decision you need to make. But if you plead not guilty, it will be very hard for us to convince the council of such things. The Padron can decide what he likes, but he is still a child. He is still not... And many people think his mind has been messed with by Daeron Kaidos.
These trials work very differently to where I'm from. Like, you know, back over there you have like discovery and all this kind of preamble. Here it's just, nope, next week one guy decides.
Welcome to Adana.
I
It's
mean,
the Padron. It's not just some guy.
I said one guy,
Right.
not some guy. Very different inference.
I mean, no offense, my prince, but it may be worth mentioning the Padron was cursed by Daeron Kaidos when we rescued him from the tent. Also,
Indeed.
I'll be right back.
That's fine. He says Silver Shadow has thoroughly relieved him of any curses he previously had. He is just recovering physically now.
It's good to hear.
Yes, she's a good one. Well, is there any other questions? Do you know what your plans are in terms of when you're planning on going to the Gloom? I've spoken with Sax, is that his name?
Yeah.
He says something about the fleet is going to go. I'm not sure how you're going to get there, but these ships seem to be capable of traversing the oceans, so I suppose you could get all the way to the Gloom.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive. Wouldn't mind getting my hands on some blueprints myself. Maybe
As far as we're aware, that our Kirax riders are unable to make that journey. It would be 3 days by Kirax, but they know they do not have the strength to fly that without stopping that long.
Right.
So unfortunately, if it's just you and the fleet, you'll be on your own. There's no mechanism for us to get there just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you need any assistance? Do you need more troops?
Well, I think we could probably do with some restocking. Buying up some supplies. Bombs, potions, that kind of thing. Scrolls.
Of course.
But
This actually brings me to something I had been thinking about. So when you were fighting on the dam, Larandon told me that you took a number of sets of Shadesteel armor from the bodies of those you slayed.
We did.
That is your right. If you kill a Shadesteel knight, you are authorized to take his armor. That is your right to do. But we have never had this in our history where a non-elf has ever used it.
All right, in that case, would you like to witness the first time?
I would prefer if you didn't do it in the city. It would be hard to explain, and there are many factions amongst our nobility who do not like the amount of foreigners invested in our affairs already.
Right.
So if you wait until you have left the city and you're out of the prying eyes of many of the rich and powerful in this city, then have at it.
I mean, I was thinking more right here, right now, if you wanted to even know if it works. We've got it in the bag.
I will trust you with that. It is your spoils of war. You can do what you like with it. I would be interested to watch, but it takes a whole day of attuning, and I'm busy today.
Okay.
So.
Any advice?
But on your journey to the gloom, prepare yourself. It is something special. It is an ancient. They are ancient artifacts from the Age of Gods. They were designed for the immortal elves to use, and in the wrong hands, your desire for power can be overpowered by it.
Prince Officius used Shadesteel.
Yeah, he has a set of Shadesteel. There is a. You could describe it as a thrill. A desire for combat, for honor. And if you do not know how to handle power, you will not know how to handle Shadesteel. That being said, I will tell you, if you come across a sword, I would refrain from using it.
What makes you say that?
When the Gorenio were stationed mostly in Rodrana, we had periods where our officers and our Shadesteel users were disappearing, and we thought they were defecting, and some of them did. But it turned out that there was someone after them.
Sorry, Joanne's talking, but I can't hear her. We can't.
Oh, she's on the. She just said that she just had a call, so.
Oh, okay.
I think she might be on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, he said. He says, and that's obviously you have come to discover that was the assassin in yellow. There is something about using a Shadesteel weapon, whether it's to attack someone or to just hold it in your hand, that attracts the assassin.
Well, we're beating him once. We'll do it again.
I would refrain. We have been to places in the gloom before, and he's been absorbing power from Shadesteel bearers in there. The more that die
True.
by his hand, the stronger he gets.
How many swords has he?
Of assessing how strong he is.
How many swords has he morphed into that thing at
Shadesteel.
this point?
the shade steel swords are the ones that attract the assassin in yellow. Although shade steel armor is made of the same material, so I'm not sure exactly why the swords attract him. But just be aware that there could potentially be something about the armor. We have no evidence. The armor could potentially cause an issue as well.
Right.
It's worth just being aware of. In that case, as long as you have no further questions, I think we're done here.
Today.
I need to talk to you.
Oh, in private, Cyan?
Oh, sorry. Calcifer was speaking as well.
Ask away. Calcifer, you go first.
The incursion that's set to happen at some point today with those Gloomstalkers up above.
Yes.
Are there solid plans in place? Do you need our help for that?
We have had ravens from all across Adana reporting the first landings already. It is not something that we can deal with for now. We have to just hold out and regain our strength for a while, and then we can try and fight them bit by bit. Reopen the roads and the connection networks and stuff like that. But each of the cities are designed for this kind of siege, almost. I would just be careful being out on the road and not to make yourself too obvious. Stow away lights and lamps, that sort of thing. They can see you from miles, I'm sure. That being said, we have heard of a landing near Kerin Tor, which is an old abandoned tower on the coast between Faetana and Camhune. It sort of points to a map, which is here. That's what I want. He's just going to add that to his list of confirmed gloom attacks. He says, we do desperately need to try and study one of these so-called gloom stalkers. If you can capture one for us, that will be much appreciated. We have some squads working on it, but they move quickly, and our armies are not designed for stealth, so to speak.
Right.
But that is for another day. The more information we have on our enemy and who exactly we are fighting, the better. The more power we have.
Sure. Have you lot? Did you fight some? You fought some of these before, right?
Have we?
So when you were in the gloom, you had things that were following you that you didn't really fight. They were just kind of mindlessly following around. They were the like shield face guys, and then you also fought a bear, and you also fought a bunch of goblins that were in the gloom.
So
I'm pretty
would
sure
they
they were
all
flying around us, weren't they?
They were flying. Yeah, they were like beasts that were flying around you. You're not
I
quite sure if
could've-
it's the same things that have been sent here.
I could have sworn that on the before meeting Cadell, there were some
Yeah.
Gloomstalkers at like the entrance to that cave.
Yeah, they were goblins.
Okay.
I think they were different things
Yeah.
altogether.
I just
They
seem to
were
rem-
still corrupted by the power of the gloom, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be the same beasts that.
Oh, right.
Or, but then again, like they don't really know. They only see like large groups of flying things heading down.
Yeah.
They're not quite sure what it is.
Okay.
So until they get more information, they're not sure what even they're dealing with or how strong it is. Like they don't want to send an army to get rid of them, for them to just kill everyone or like fly away and go somewhere else. You know?
Or it turns out, oh, they're basically just glorified bats.
Yeah.
And like, just they're not even.
But-
They're just a bit of a pest.
But of course, Henning, you're not supposed to leave the city. But
Yes.
if I don't see it and the Tempest Brand don't see it, we can look the other way, huh?
Thank you.
He stands to his feet. Right. Cyan, you wanted to speak?
Yes. The others can be here if they want, or they can go. But,
I'll stay. I'm nosy.
I want to hear this.
I have something important to ask. What is the status of the rebels going to be, seeing as I imagine many of them will be seeking pardons or ways to apologize and make amends?
Depends how nicely they ask and how much support they give the crown during its time of need. Unfortunately, House Kaidos, as the architects of such treachery, were unlikely to be forgiven. I've already heard that Marish Kaidos has supplanted himself as head of House Kaidos and is seemingly unwilling to give up the war effort. But we'll see how long that lasts. At the very least, Kadara is going to be a stronghold of his for the time being. The lands in the north, they will fall. And the petty lords that run them on House Kaidos' behalf, without House Kaidos being able to exert power over them, will soon fall into the fold. As so will House Ignis, I presume. I have just heard that they have been defeated in Calrius.
I ask, of course, because of a certain issue with a member of House Ignis.
State your issue, and we'll see if we can resolve it.
My people have been victimized by elves across our history. It's a difficult fact to swallow, and yet many of my people have fought besides your men in service of the city. Before I met my friends here, before I was even a part of the Adventurers Guild, I lived in a small community near Adnira. My people were butchered and enslaved by Darren Kaidos.
By, you mean Duranda Ignis?
Durando Ignis, sorry.
Yeah. He rests his hand on his chin whilst he thinks. And you wish for revenge, I presume.
I care not for the rest of House Ignis. That's up to you to decide. But I want his head.
Well, I have some good news for you. And some bad news. What would you like first?
Always bad news.
There's nothing I can do about Duranda Ignis.
Okay.
The good news, however, is that he was captured in Kelrius by the merchant prince there, during the battle. He is currently residing within the palace as his prisoner of war, and is due to be ransomed. If you can take your query, I guess, to the merchant prince there, perhaps he will be able to keep him there a bit longer until you arrive. But unfortunately, he's out of the sway of the grasp of Adana, and in with our allies in the merchant company.
Very well.
If you need to send ravens, we can do that.
I'm going to need to, yeah.
I will write a letter on your behalf with the royal seal. I'm sure that they will keep him there for you.
Might want to
Thank
send a
you.
few by different routes, given the state of the skies.
Indeed. Yes, we have already discovered many of our letters are not being delivered. But that's for another day. I will see it done.
Thank you, my
But
prince.
unfortunately, I will not be able to guarantee that you will have your comeuppance for the crimes of Duranda Ignis against your people. That is entirely down to the humans to decide on this point.
Very well. Thank you
Good.
anyway.
No problem at all. And again, thank you for helping save the city.
It was our honor.
He nods. Before he shows you to the door. Is there any last bits you want to do while here?
I would like to go and see Laura.
Okay,
I would like to go
just-
to the
Just
dam.
for a chat.
that's cool.
I would like to go to the dam and recover the last piece of the last shade steel set. Still there.
Oh, what, from the water?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's take a break. And we'll come back and we'll do what Cascus is up to. And then we'll do the rest of the stuff.
Cool. Alright. See you in a bit.
Hi, welcome back. So just before the break,
Come on, guys.
we spoke with Prince Orthusius, and Cascus got teleported away. So we'll just go straight to Cascus, shall we?
Mhm.
All right. So Cascus, in a flash of light, you appear just in the woods near the city of Lenora. Lunaria. Across Lake Lenora. You see the ending of the sort of fires of the city after the siege of the town, as well as a couple of guards kind of just moseying about looting, effectively.
How much of the town has burnt down as a result of the inferno that was unleashed upon it by a few people? including
Maybe about a third. There was maybe only about 500 people living there.
Mhm.
And as far as you can tell, uh, the fort that's there seems mostly in good nick, and there's a few guards sort of walking up and down the walls of the city.
Mhm.
But you know where Cadell's house is, so I'll get you to do a stealth check if you want to stealth.
So is it worth leaving the horse outside the town? Are you suggesting? Because I can't stealth in with the horse, can I?
Yeah, it would be quite obvious if you just ran into the
Okay,
town
great.
centre on the
So
horse.
I'll find a nearby, like a chopped down log stump or something that's been felled
just-
at some point.
Tie the horse to it.
Yeah, and I give Lace some food,
Mhm.
pat it on the side, and I don't know. Is there anything just make sure put it somewhere where it's quiet?
Yeah, it seems to be quiet around. It's not spooked yet. But you don't notice any. Make a perception check for me. Right at this moment, you don't notice any Gloomstalker
Yeah,
incursions.
if there's I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do to stop it, because I imagine the Gloomstalker would be attracted to the horse. Perception check. It's at 18.
Yeah, you don't notice anything at all.
Ah,
The horse
yeah.
kind of is just nuzzling a piece of grass that's nearby. Just doesn't even look up as you tie it to the log.
Yeah, I mean, just up, as long as it's reasonably.
It's not going. It's not going anywhere.
No, that's fine. I just mean where I've set it as well. Like it's not maybe it's under some trees or
Oh
something.
yeah, it's under tree cover. It's like a short walk to the town, maybe about 5 minutes, and then you can probably stealth from building to building.
Okay, cool. Yep. Good stuff.
You donning any disguises, or are you just going to walk in?
Cascus will have his elf form on for his visage.
Mhm.
Maybe he'll change it slightly to what he usually does.
You do have.
Stealth potions as well, I think.
You did have the opportunity if you wanted to bring a Kaidas uniform as well, because you had a bunch of those.
I did have a bunch of those.
You can put that on if you want. It's no big
Sure.
deal if not.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So moseying up to the town. Are you going to be quite stealthy about it, or are you just going to walk in?
Well, I've got greater potions of darkness, so but I think let's just go in and see what happens. I mean, if it goes worse, I can always just come back in with greater potion of darkness on.
Greater potions of darkness. What does that do?
We bought them for a previous venture.
I think they were potions of greater dark vision.
Oh, right, fine. Those are different things.
Yeah. If you want to use a potion of dark vision, you currently got dim light vision here. I don't think it will help much. It's not like pitch black.
I won't bother.
Okay.
I'll just rock up.
All right. So walking up, you effortlessly make your way past a couple of guards who are just going house to house, just seeing what they can collect. Any valuables, sort of things that they can carry on hand. You hear one House Kaidas officer say, "Men, we've got 20 minutes here, and we're moving out. Get all the things that you need, and we're going. It's time to go home." So brushing past them, they don't really look at you, and they don't try and ascertain whether you're supposed to be there or not. But you do see a couple, a couple of soldiers just outside of Cadell's house and Isolde's house, sort of bickering over just a tiny little trinket that one of them's got, just saying like, "No, I found it first." And the other one says, "Yeah, right. Tell that to Yeah, tell that to my hand. And he just punches him in
Uh-huh.
the face over it, and they just start grappling. You can push past him if you want.
Yeah, just carry on.
All right.
Causing a fuss.
You notice that the front door to Cadell's house is currently kicked in. Although there doesn't seem to be anyone inside. Sort of just having a cursory kind of listen around. Doesn't seem to be anyone like currently looting it. Do you remember where Cadell
So looking back at
mentioned?
my notes, it says there is a room with a box in his house.
I think it was in the basement.
Note GPT.
It had like a hidden cellar underneath the building.
Did we ever
right?
go in there? I don't think we did, though, did we?
I don't think we went.
No. You can, but you assume if it's Cadell, it's probably going to be some sort of hidden contraption.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, look, I've got gaseous form, so like even small cracks, I can probably try and abuse with it. So. I mean, I could probably just do an investigation check. Potentially. I'll do it with a legend point.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
Is that 40?
All right, so a bit lost. You just sort of enter the downstairs study and kind of have a bit of a look around. Pulling aside one of the rugs that's just under the desk, you do notice that there is a trapdoor, which seems to lead into a cellar of some sort. It is locked.
Okay, is there gaps in it?
There are gaps. You could potentially break your way through it if you wanted to.
Can I just use a gaseous form to go through it?
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
I'll just do that.
All right, gaseous form. Slipping through the cracks, you descend into the cellar. It is very dark down here, and there's no forms of light.
Kind of clicks his finger, and this kind of light comes up.
Once you get through the cracks and you're sort of
and I default. I reform.
Okay. Okay, so a sort of small little candle's worth of light produces from your finger, and you look back up at the cellar and you notice that there's loads and loads of tripwires all underneath the trapdoor, like rigged to what seems to be some sort of like arcane bomb of some sort that's just all wired into the floorboards.
It's nice that he decided not to mention that bit.
They're like glowing with like a sort of faint red magical energy. You've never seen anything like this before. Whether Cadell made it or he just happened to have these.
I'm very careful with any movement I do.
Mhm.
Just keeping an eye out for traps.
There seems to be a whole number of chests.
In fact, I will drink the potion of dark vision.
Cool. Yeah, there's all right. You drink that, and your vision suddenly clears up so that every inch of the room is visible to you. It's a small cellar, probably about 20 feet across by 20 feet, like a kind of square. It's lined with shelves, things suspended in liquid, whether it's like there's like a kind of mind flare parasite kind of just like floating in some liquid. There's a number of small little lock boxes, and then there's a couple of chests all around the room. There's like five chests in total, and then there's you can have a look at the shelves if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean just do you want me to do a perception check or just want to look around?
It won't take you because he's not. Cadell's not explicitly hidden anything down here. Like it was hidden enough, so this is just all out in the open. So you can take your time to have a look around.
Yeah, I mean, just he's gonna look at pretty much as much as he can.
All right, I'd say make an investigation check just to check for traps if there's any more.
Fine. I won't use my legend point for this. I don't think that's a good idea. Investigation is just a perception.
Yep.
29.
Okay, as far as you're aware, the chests don't seem to be trapped, but they all are locked.
Okay. Well, I'll look at everything that's out of the chests first.
Okay, so on the shelves, You find a level 13 time shield potion. These are all like labeled as well. So you know
It
what they
literally
are.
says level 13 on it.
Wait, it says time shield potion.
Okay.
Purple worm venom.
Mhm.
Antidote major, just in case.
Mhm.
A dazing coil.
As in days, as in it's bright.
Dazing.
Mhm.
An eldritch flare.
Mhm.
A McCrady jar. I'll put that in the chat so you know how to spell it.
Macron. I probably spelled that wrong. Yep.
A divine scroll of divine inspiration.
Oh, shit. Hold on one sec.
I can put the whole list on here.
Yeah, go on. Don't do that. That'd be easier.
I'll put the levels on there as well, so it's easy to work out what it is.
Okay.
That's it.
Fantastic.
So that's what you find on the shelves, as well as there's a mind flare parasite. You can take that if you want. It's suspended in some sort of liquid, but you know well enough to not mess with that generally.
I think I leave that.
Yeah, okay.
Do we know what a mind flare is?
Well, I'm not gonna
Fr-
hardly
being
just
from
open the.
being from Orthaid, Cascus has heard about mind flares, and yeah.
Okay.
I actually
You
take
might not
a
do.
local water source and throw it in there and just see what happens. That's it.
As you sort of look at it, it does seem to wriggle a little bit, so it is still alive.
Okay. No, I leave that there. In fact, if anything, I hide it. If
Mhm.
if there's any space in the room to hide it,
Mhm.
I just like move the jar somewhere behind something. Like I don't know.
Cool. So that's what you find on the shelves. That's all the stuff of importance. There's a couple of books and stuff that are just either some notes that Cadell wrote, or just things that are just unimportant. Like you flick through them, there's nothing really that comes to mind. Like it's bad poetry and that sort of thing.
All right, I'll go for the which looks like the smallest and most unassuming chest.
Well, there's a lockbox. There's a lockbox like which is a small black kind of smooth lockbox on the shelves, and then there's 5 chests.
I'll go for the lockbox.
Okay, it's locked. You can pick it up in you can pick it up in your hands.
Okay. Right. I pick it up.
Are you gonna open it? Are you gonna try and open it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's locked, so you can try and pick the lock, or unless you have some other way.
Could it fit in my bag?
Have you
Actually,
brought a
no,
bag of holding with you?
I have not.
Okay.
Probably not. I will try and lock.
You can
Sorry.
you can always carry it with you, just in a hand with all the rest of your stuff. You can probably tie it to you or something when you tie it to the horse.
Could I like
It's small, right? It's like the size of maybe 2 fists, so it's not huge.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tie that. I'll probably keep that one like on my person. I don't want to
Okay.
risk like damaging it or something.
Mhm.
Unless it's got like 5 keys in it, which would be really annoying. But whatever.
Mhm.
And the chests. I've tied that one to me.
Okay, so the chests are too big to carry.
That's fine.
But if you can't get them open, you're kind of stuck.
Okay, are they all locked?
They're all locked. Yeah, you try each one.
Could I like burn the lock, like melt the lock?
You could try and burn your way through the chest, but it might damage whatever's inside if it's something fragile. So just down to you.
Well, I mean, he was a thief once upon a time. I don't know if he has any lockpicks on him. Probably not.
I assume you probably got a lockpick set on you, and there's no reason to say why you wouldn't. You can give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
All right. What is that
Thievery? I'm untrained, not.
All right, make a thievery check for me.
Okay.
Amateurs.
There's a 2.
Unfortunately, try as you might, the
Okay,
lock does not
fine.
seem to be budging.
Can I try that? Can I do a roll for each one?
Yeah, you can do a roll for each one, but this particular one, the first chest is a no. That's a no. That's also a no. That's a no. Ooh. All right, chest number 4. You do somehow. You're not quite sure how, but you just fluke it. Like you're getting kind of pissed off with the rest of you, like, oh fuck's sake, and then you just like jam the pin in there and just wriggle it around. It just unlocks. And you're like, huh, how did that even happen? Inside there is a whole bunch of stuff. Here you go.
Celestial armor. That all sounds very fun. Okay. How do I carry that?
That's for you to decide.
I'm not sure how much bulk that would take.
Help me out, guys. What's the bulk? How much bulk do people have? Is there strength? Something to do with their strength? Isn't it?
It should say on
All
your
the
sheet.
gold
Oh, it
is
says on your
the-
sheet, doesn't it? It should say on your sheet.
Well, it says how much I've got, but that's the gold. I'm encumbered 8 because the gold's in my treasury.
Okay, so take
We
the gold
really-
off.
We really need to just get everyone a bag of holding.
Hold on, I can calculate it because it's 1872. So I just need to minus that. So that is like 7 bulk. So I've got like 4. Oh no, max bulk is 13. Hold on, let me just quickly turn it.
You can be encumbered, but it'll be really obvious, like that you've just got
Well,
loads of stuff on.
everyone else has got loads of stuff on them, so I don't think I'm exactly like.
Well, everyone else has all their stuff in the bag of holding, I assume.
We've got multiple.
No, as in the other the soldiers here, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm just minusing how much I.
Yeah, you'll be obviously encumbered, and it will slow you down. But
right, I've got 2 bulk free. Why is a monkey pin 1 bulk? That doesn't sound right. Or is that right? Maybe. Oh no, it's L. Ignore me. If you're wearing something, does that count as bulk? Yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it? Like armor.
yeah, so you can't carry a total amount of bulk that exceeds 10 plus your strength modifier. So that's your upper limit. To how much you can
13.
carry.
Alright, I'm gonna throw that leather armor. I don't need to. The rapier. Don't probably need that. So Cascus has got. He's used, so I can get 9 bulk. I can carry 9 bulks worth of stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, let's say that like you've left pretty much everything that's not essential with you.
right.
So your total is 13.
Yes, and I'm
Like
currently.
a set of clothes and whatever other stuff
Well,
that
he
you've got
magics,
that's
he
essential
magics
is
up
probably
his
like...
armor, so
Okay, so yeah, that's probably like 1 or 2 bulk, and then the rest is just free space.
cool. So he's got like 12 bulk. Sorry, 11 bulk.
Let's say 11, yeah.
Okay, great. So that is, and each one of those, how much bulk are all the things that you've just outlined?
You're gonna have to add that up yourself.
where
The
does it
celestial
say?
armor. It should say on the.
I need to Google it then. Fine. So I'm going to be a while. If you want to go back to, I will probably try and like.
Yeah, so armor is 1 bulk, and then everything else is probably going to be less. So the wand of continuation.
Each wand is 1.
That's just a light. That's a light bulk, so that doesn't count as a 1.
Okay. So the staff of divination probably will. The magic armor will count as 1 probably, and the celestial armor counts as 1. So it's 3 in total for that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, fine. That's fine. I can pick them up, and that's not a
Cool.
problem.
Yeah, that's fine. So you just sort of put them in your bags, tie it to your waist, and you're carrying stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, one chest's worth of stuff is okay. But obviously,
I can do another one. I could have another one on. It was only 3 bulk, and I've got what?
Mhm.
I wasn't like I brought like 2 bulk, and I'm on 13 max.
Yeah.
I could do a couple more probably. So I mean, I'll try and burn my way into one of them. I don't know how. Like the thing is, I don't know how. It might just be worth coming back with other people, but there could be also lots of problems that come along with it. But we have a whole week. Ooh, do I want to risk damaging it? No, I don't think I need to risk damaging it. We could probably come back if all the Kaidos men have left.
Yeah, you hear shouting outside of 5-minute warning, everyone.
I'll probably just wait until they all go.
Mhm.
So I'll just keep on like if I can. I like play around with the box, the chests, like move them around a bit.
Okay.
I don't know if there is some other way, but otherwise I'll just wait until they've cleared off and then probably leave until the group.
All right. You eventually hear them all start to gather outside and then chat amongst themselves, and their voices begin to disappear as they leave. Once you feel like it's safe to come out, you gonna leave?
Yeah, I am, but I'm going to use the gaseous form again to get out.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Gaseous form. Through the cracks. Are you staying in gaseous form and kind of floating?
I will. It lasts for how long does it last for? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. It lasts for a total of 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I could probably go a reasonable distance with it, even though it's 10 flight speed.
Yeah, you probably get about halfway to the horse.
Yeah.
All right, so flying above Lunarion on the way back, you see all the soldiers beginning to meet up with a couple of other squads outside the town. And then suddenly there's a flap of wings above your head. As your vision sort of goes up towards it, I'm not quite sure whether you have eyes or not in this one. But as you look up, you see a huge scaled beast, black, flying overhead. Doesn't look quite like a dragon. It looks of a similar variety, flying above, before swooping down and in a single breath just blasting away the soldiers, who scatter and just drop to the floor and try their might to send up arrows at the beast. Make a
I've got dark vision, remember? So
yeah, make a nature check for me,
I probably can
or
see it.
or a history or religion. That's your choice.
Occultism?
I'll allow it.
Right. Oh, I assume it's a gloom thing. 19. So 30.
It seems to be some form of Drake. Not the rapper. A like two-legged, scaly kind of dragonkin, where instead of like having front legs and wings, the wings and the front legs kind of are the same. Although its wings are a lot wider, the wingspan's a lot wider than you'd expect from its kind of thin body. The leathery kind of wings have holes in them through having been torn and fought over years. And riding atop it seems to be some sort of what you assume is an elf, from the ears and from the kind of dress sense, with very pale, unhealthy, pallid-looking skin. But also on his face is a shield, like a bronze shield of some sort that seems to be twirled in all sorts of weird patterns.
Sorry, the shield is on his face.
Yeah, it's sort of covering his face. It protrudes. Yeah, it's kind of like a mask. It does look like a shield though. It's sort of round. It's kind of got an embossing in the middle. But it seems to be made of some sort of copper or like something, like bronze or something.
I've seen anything like this before.
Yeah, you've seen this in the gloom. You've seen creatures with similar things like this in the gloom.
Yeah.
It dive bombs the scattering soldiers, and this kind of like frosty mist shoots out of the drake's mouth, freezing some of them where they stand in an instant, and injuring the others. A few of them start to crawl away, but the drake sort of lands on them and just eats most of them up. Like some of them scatter for the woods where you're headed. Eventually your gaseous form ends. Can you make a stealth check for me? You're still in the open. You're not quite at the woods yet.
I'll use a legend point on this.
Okay.
My other one. 40.
Cool. Yeah, you duck into a sort of ditch, nearby, pretty confident that it can't see you. You make a break for the woods, where you come across Lace, seeming a bit spooked. But yeah, very effortlessly you untie Lace's rope and mount her, sort of letting a lot of the weight of your carried items sort of rest onto her. Can you make an animal handling check for me? She
Yes.
seems a bit spooked at the moment.
Is that nature check?
Yeah, it should be, I think. Commands an animal. That's a nature check. Yeah.
I got a +0. It was gonna land on a 1 there. That was pretty horrific. So.
Okay, so the animal is helpful to you, so you increase this degree of success by 1 step. That would be a fail, but that's a success. So at first you feel like Lace is about to kick you off. It sort of rises to its hind legs and sort of whinnies, but you manage to take her under control and sort of spin her around. You see through the break in the trees the drake still kind of munching on a few of the soldiers, but you feel like you could probably get a wide berth around it if you make a break now.
Sure, go for it.
All right.
Gallops with all his might.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the rest of the party. So what's everyone else doing?
Going for a swim.
You've just met Prince Holthisius. Oh yeah, you are trying to grab the. Have you got anything that will help you?
Oh, Joanna,
Because it'll be at the bottom of the lagoon.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, yeah, now you're not muted.
Oh. Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Maybe you would like someone to cast water breathing on you.
That could help.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two are going to go together?
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
All right. Henning and Cyan, you got any plans?
I don't necessarily, but if Henning wants to do something, I could help Henning out. If Henning doesn't have anything, I could go help Calsper out.
Well, Henning needs to have a chat with Vance first, but that doesn't. I don't know how much Cyan can really be involved in that.
You've
But
got a whole week to. You don't have to do anything immediately. You can just check.
No, but
no, I mean I'm not talking specifically to you, Henning. I'm just saying to Cyan. Like, you don't have to be doing something.
Cyan's gonna go to an inn and have some nice food and drink.
Okay. What inn are you going to?
One that's not on fire.
Okay, the Might and Fine doesn't seem to be on fire, and also that is where a lot of the Azera are currently staying.
I will go there then.
All right. So Calcifer and Hanera, you reach the end you reach the edge of the lagoon, where the dam kind of blends into. Hanera casts water breathing on you as you take your first tentative steps into the water. You got any particular plan of scouring this lagoon? You're just gonna have a walk around, see if you spot it.
Yeah, just kind of go to the bottom.
Cool. Make a
Assume it's
perception check
synced.
for me. Okay,
34.
nice. So as your head sort of dips below the water, not quite knowing where to start, you just kind of start walking around. The first breath that you take underwater is always an unnerving one with this spell on you, but like a little bubble of air kind of appears in front of your face, allowing you to breathe in the water effortlessly. After a little while, half buried within the rocks and silt of the lagoon, you notice Darren Kydus's shadestone armor.
Okay, taking that. He had a weapon as well, right?
Yes. Let me just get that for you.
Don't know if there's anything special, but
Do you want to try and identify it now?
Do you want me
yeah,
to?
sure.
If it's
If I can.
magical, you might want to do it when you get up to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a look, see, but I wouldn't sit here on pop a squat on the
Yeah,
bottom of the water and.
Yeah, make a perception check for me quickly.
Okay. Oh, that's 17 with a natural 1.
Okay, unfortunately you don't seem to recognise it. It seems like a very well-crafted rapier of some sort.
Cool.
Very well balanced. Kind of not. You'd expect it to have started to rust by now, but it doesn't seem to have. But upon returning to Hanera, your prize in hand, the rapier in one and the set of armor in the other, the water sort of drips off you.
Okay.
As Hank, just waiting anxiously for you to return, is like, woof, 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 woof.
I'll stuff the shade still into the bag of holding.
Okay.
ASAP. I assumed that opening a bag of holding underneath the water would maybe not be the best idea.
No, yeah, you're back on the surface now.
Yeah, stuff that in.
Yeah, imagine it's just like you open it up and all your stuff just floods out of the bag as the water displaces it. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So, did you want to have a look at it, Hanera? It seems to be it seems to be faintly glowing with a kind of red energy.
Is it arcane energy?
I guess it's some sort of arcane energy. It might just be part of the design of the blade that it's got some magical component to it. It might have been an ancient weapon of some sort.
Okay.
But the hilt itself and the sort of the guard that goes over the hand is adorned with like blood red rubies. And down the blade seems to be almost like indentations of like drops of blood or like some sort of like liquid almost that sort of runs the length of the blade. Like a brilliant red.
Okay.
Cool,
Identify it.
make yeah, so let's have a look. Do you have an identify spell?
So I think it's usually just an Arcana check,
Yeah.
and I have assured identification, which means, if I crit fail, you don't tell me something that's wrong,
Sure.
because that's what happens if you crit fail usually.
Yeah, I guess because it's a weapon, it'd be a crafting or perception
Okay,
check.
Calcifer, do you want to do it?
If it's crafting,
Does it
then
have? Is it not magical then?
It is a magic weapon.
Okay.
But it's not magic in terms of like it's a spell, right? It's a
Right.
weapon. So like to identify what the actual
then-
weapon does, it would be some sort of like rune crafting or crafting kind of
Okay. So
specialization.
okay, I would just have Calcifer do it then.
Yeah, you can do an aid if you want as well.
Can I do that with Arcana?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Ah, nice. Okay, I will do that then.
cool. Would
God, everyone's rolling badly today.
would this count as blacksmithing? As an area of...
It's going to be more like rune crafting. It's less the blade, and it's more the runes
Okay.
that are on it.
Don't get
so
my
I
plus
don't
2. Ooh.
37.
37, potentially 38.
Yeah. So it's the first thing that comes to your mind as you properly inspect it now that you're not underwater is that it is a +2 brilliant greatest striking rapier.
Cool.
It seems to have some other component to it that you can't quite work out yet. Whether that is, and like just coming to mind, whether it's cursed or whether it's got some sort of like connection to vampiric kind or power. But it seems to almost have a thirsting for blood. As you just hold it in your hand, like you haven't attuned to it. You're not quite sure what that might be.
Okay.
But it's but like the actual weapon itself is a +2 brilliant greater striking rapier. And that would be level 14.
Cool. Right, into the bag of holding it goes.
Never to be seen ever again. All right, is that your business there done?
Yeah, and then in the evening I'm gonna teach Henning those spells.
Cool. All right, let's go to Cascus quickly. So Cascus, you make a break from the tree line, and you notice that immediately the Drake doesn't seem to notice you or pay much heed to you. You're sort of blending in with the trees as you're sort of taking a wide berth around it, mostly sticking to the sort of hills just below its line of sight. So like you might occasionally pop it up from where you're sat on the horse and you can see it. But it's probably about 200 feet away from you and you're taking a wide berth around it. As you look into the sky, you don't seem to notice anything else for now. Make a stealth check for me. As you sort of like reconvene onto the road and start heading back to Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you reconvene onto the road, Lace's leg slips slightly, and a large on the gravel of the Padron's Road, you immediately notice that the Drake's head pops right up, and you hear a growling. You hear the flurry of wings behind you. You can choose to either look back or you can just floor it.
Floor it.
Okay. So you're going to start to floor it. You hear the wings fly up into the air from behind you. You hear the sound of the Drake getting closer and closer. It feels like you've been spotted.
Am I in the undergrowth or in the?
You're on the road. You're on the road now. So Lace is galloping pretty much full speed. The Drake is probably 200 feet behind you. Every round is probably going to catch up with you 30 feet or so, unless you can like throw something out to distract it or.
Okay. Let me think.
Yeah. What's your first decision?
Cassius throws a wall of fire backwards behind him along the road.
Okay.
Is it like a distraction, I suppose, a little bit? Maybe the Drake doesn't like the heat.
Okay. Yeah. So the pillars of flame shoot out, and immediately the entire road is engulfed with an arcane fire. It lights the entire road up, almost like like a huge bonfire, and you immediately hear the Drake hiss as its vision is obscured by the smoke and the flames. Let me do a perception check for it. All right, it feels like you managed to distract it for a couple of rounds.
Okay. How many rounds am I going to distract this thing for?
I'd say that you need to get 5 rounds ahead of it.
Okay.
For you to have another chance to stealth.
Okay.
It doesn't have perfect dark vision either. And although you can't quite see it, it's more like a sort of shape in the distance for you because it's obviously quite a distance away. You can still hear it. Sort of, it's almost flying around the fire, not wanting to go anywhere near it.
Sorry, is there undergrowth either side?
There's undergrowth on either side. If you wanted to try and jump and hide down there, you could. You always could. But it depends if you want to try and get away from it or whether you want to try and like lose it.
I don't necessarily mind. I mean, and how many turns? 3 turns away? Did you say?
So let's say that there's. Let's say 2 more turns of either just like stopping it from getting closer to you or distracting it.
Okay.
Is probably gonna give you another chance to lose it.
Cascus has a focus spell called Dazzling Flash.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it's a 30-foot cone. But like it basically he raises his religious symbol and he'll just probably use itself as it, and it creates a kind of blinding flash. But I don't know, like, it could dazzle the creature.
Yeah, I'd say that like it won't do the effect to it, but it'll definitely be bright.
Okay.
And from what you can expect from it, it's from a realm that does not have much bright light, so it's not very well adapted to bright light or sound.
Well, okay, I can do that. So I'll do that. That's a dazzling. So I gain a part of my curse.
Cool. So as the dragon flaps, as the drake flaps up into the air, and you hear it screech overhead, you aim dazzling flash at it, and almost like a phosphorus kind of flare going off. The entire area, just for a second, is engulfed in white light. You hear it screech again, and it starts to almost shake, and the rider kind of almost falls off it for a second, has to sort of hold on.
And finally, if that's the case, then let's just overwhelm its senses. So Cascus will do a repelling pulse to just like decimate the local like trees and things, but it's like a sound wave kind of coming out.
Okay. And then finally, like a burst of energy shoots out, like a crack of thunder, knocking a few trees over. The dragon senses, it's been flashbang basically. It's just like circling in the air, unable to sort of lock onto you. So you have an opportunity if you want to either pull the horse to one side and just hide in the undergrowth.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so you get off Lace and sort of just like take cover in a nearby bush.
I could also theoretically do like a localized like darkness spell on myself as well, level 3.
It's down to you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Anything that might help you with hiding from it is.
I'll do darkness, so it literally turns the area. It prevents light from penetrating or emanating within the area. So we'll go into the undergrowth a reasonable amount, and then it's a 20-foot burst. I guess I can't make it smaller, but like as long as I'm, it's like dark. So
yeah, I'll say that if you want to make it smaller, you can make it smaller.
Okay, I'll make it smaller, so it's around the two of us.
Okay. All right. So make another stealth check for me. You get. I'll give you a +5 circumstance bonus because that's the successes you had.
Okay. That's 35.
Okay. You hear the drake sort of screeching in the air as it flaps around. Its rider clearly searching for you. But after about 30 seconds or so, it gives up, and you hear it flapping off into the distance. After another minute or so, peering after the darkness disappears, sort of peering out and seeing what you can see. Give me a perception check. Okay, as far as you're aware, it's gone.
Might just wait a few more minutes.
Okay.
And then
So
I will go.
Cool. After a couple of more minutes, nothing seems to be heard in the skies. You don't seem to notice anything. And Lace seems a lot calmer.
Okay. So yeah,
especially after getting a bit of breath. Right. So remounting Lace and heading back onto the road, you begin the long journey of returning back to Lenora.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Henning, what are you doing? You wanted to speak to Vance, right?
Yeah, I think I need to find a private spot to do, probably like in a room in an inn or something.
Okay. Well, there's you've got your space on the ship as well.
That's true. Could go.
Like no one's there currently.
Yeah, could go there.
Yeah, it's little-lined as well. So, all right. So, being on your own inside the quarters that you have on this particular ship of Blackjack, you focus on the fire inside of you and see a very small, withered Vance deep within your soul in a sort of realm of blackness, kind of devoid of a lot of his power.
Oh,
He's sort of like lying down and just sort of looking up at the sky.
Oh, you do not look good.
I'll kill you for this, he says.
Oh, please. Come here to negotiate.
He laughs. So power isn't the be all and end all then.
Perhaps not. Listen, I could potentially use your help. Does he? Has he even hear? Can he hear like what's going on outside? Like, does he know about the trial? Or would he not know?
From what you can assume, he is like shut off from the world. You basically like resigned him to a existence of just being in a dark kind of room inside your sword.
The Tempest Brand have come. They want to put me on trial for the murder of my father. Fear may not go our way, so I may need your help here.
Vance laughs. He says, "If you die, I'll be free. Why would I help you?"
Listen, if you help me, I'll let you out of this. I won't imprison you anymore.
Are you? Make a deception check. Unless you're being honest, but I don't think you are.
I mean that whether it's honest or not can be decided later on.
Yeah. Okay. Make a deception check.
21.
Vance says, "Try another excuse."
Listen, if you don't help me, I can make it a lot worse for you in here.
Make an intimidation check. I'll give you So yeah, I'll give you a +5 circumstance modifier.
And I'm just going to use a legend point because why not?
Okay.
Oh, there you go. So 45.
He says, "You know, this is not the first time I've been trapped in a sword against my will."
Well, if it's not the first, I would have thought you would have learned from the first time.
I underestimated you.
Everyone always does.
What do you need help with, then?
I want you, if this trial goes wrong, to appear and tell the elves that I am the next prophet.
That's cool.
You can tell, like, on his face, he's not quite sure what to make of that. He sort of looks at you and goes, "You must be mad."
No, but you know what will happen if you tell them that. They'll rush to my aid. They'll do anything to protect me from the Tempest Brand, including killing them.
And what if they find out what you've done with me?
Well, I guess I'll be fighting my way out, won't I?
I'll tell you
But
what.
if you tell them, I will make your life a hell, even if it's only for a short period before they get me.
Touche, Henning, Vance says. He sticks out his hand for you to shake it.
I'll shake him. I'll shake his hand.
I've been a servant before. For people much more powerful than you. I know how to keep my mouth shut.
Good. Then we have a deal.
Do I get anything for helping?
Well, you haven't helped yet. We'll see you when the time comes, won't we?
Fuck you, Henning.
He just puts him back in. He puts him back into prison for now.
Yeah, he just goes like a wave of relief washes over you, I guess.
Damn, maybe Henning does deserve to be given the death penalty.
He's actually evil, like turns out.
Back in the jar.
Back in the jar.
Right, so Cyan, at the Might and Fine, as you arrive, a large cheer breaks out from amongst the Azera, who are broken free from their elven bindings, now fully frontal Azera.
Azera.
Partying
Episode
with many
title.
of the partying with many of the elves, the elven soldiers who happen to be around, as well as Laura, you notice, at the Might and Fine. They cheer for you as you arrive, and you see Kazuhiro clutching a large mug of what seems to be some sort of elven ale. Says, the man of the hour, Cyan.
I kind of just raised my hand sheepishly as a hello.
The slayer of Daeron Kaidas himself.
I don't remember telling anyone that.
Word gets around quick, my friend. He slaps you on the back.
Okay. Cyan is a rogue for a reason. He hates being the center of attention. So
he slaps you on the back and says, personally, I thought I'd be the one. But anyway.
maybe if you're quicker next time, buddy.
Say that again?
Maybe if you're quicker next time.
Hopefully there won't be a next time. I'm retiring.
Really?
He takes a big swig of ale.
And what are you going to do with your retirement?
I'm going to take it to that city you've set up. I think I'll make a dojo. Teach all the humans martial arts. I bet they'll pay a pretty penny for that.
I could see that. Yeah. I am looking to build some organization of my own if you'll ever be interested.
In what sense?
We have gifts. We could sell those gifts from time to time. Reconnaissance, spycraft, that kind of thing.
I'm not too sure about that. I'd speak to Bakuni about that. I mean, the tribe of Aeon are more suited for stealth than us. The tribe of Kishi.
Yeah. Still, though, the offer's there.
I'll bear that in mind. What is this city like that you're setting up?
Well, it's a city that we're setting up. It's not really got much to it at the moment, I don't think, but it's getting there. It's quite close to Port Edron, so
Very well. Well, the ships will be coming in the next few days or so. The rest of the Azera who've remained will make our way over there shortly. But again, thank you very much for making my retirement possible.
and thank you for fighting with us.
Hanera and Cascus, do you want to arrive at the Might and Fine as well?
Yeah, sure.
And
Yeah.
Calcifer and Henning?
Sure.
Let's just say this is somewhere that you plan to meet up. So sort of one by one, as the night goes on, eventually Hanera and Calcifer arrives. Hanera, you notice Alora dancing with a bunch of Azera, partying,
Nice.
celebrating being free. Although she does seem a little bit ill, nowhere near how the Padrin was, and she's mostly recovered from a good night's rest.
Okay.
She sees you enter and she gives you a sort of sly smile and sort of raises a glass at you.
Hello.
Hi, Hanera. She makes her way over and wipes the sweat off her brow.
I see you're partying hard.
Well, we're celebrating, huh? How about a good victory?
Well, yes, a good victory indeed.
I heard good news as well.
From?
From the slayers of my husband,
Okay.
Everything's sorted.
Great.
I didn't realize, Sanira, that he was going to betray us. I wouldn't have gone along with it if I had. I hope you know that.
I also didn't realize he was going to betray us. So, you know, I get it.
Good.
No
well,
harm?
No harm done, thank you. And, yeah, and Merrin is doing well as well.
Merrin?
Oh, yeah, we haven't spoken in a little while. I had a baby.
Oh, that explains my gesture at her physique in a joking way, as a joke. That's only a sense we can make.
Yeah, she feigns offense and then she laughs. She says, "Yes. Well, Marion unfortunately was in my father's, in my husband's presence. But Marion's doing fine, and all is going to be good. We're going to win this thing."
Okay, wonderful to hear. So, what will you do now? Are you gonna go back and fight with Cecilia and Mother, whatever Cecilia's up to these days?
I haven't heard much about Cecilia either. I wonder what she is up to.
I assume she was with Mother.
Well, that's what I heard last as well, but, you know, since we moved away, keeping in touch is hard.
You know, I take her slightly out of earshot of people. You know, Prince Holthius said that anything we could do, he could do, or whatever he said. Was it anything he could do, we could ask, or he owes us? Maybe I could ask. Hopefully, if this trial runs smoothly and we don't have to use that for favor, maybe I could ask if they could think of making women be able to claim a lordship and be the head of their household, seeing as Mother has done so well fighting for the Padron.
Well, I feel like there's precedent with Mother, and she's basically been ruling the house since Father died.
And then to give Cecilia something to do, seeing as she hasn't found any interest or a husband herself.
She laughs. Well, the last time I spoke to Cecilia, she said that she would never marry anyone, so I'm not sure that's very likely. Yeah, well, you could ask him that. I don't see why he would have a problem with it, but, I mean, I still believe Simeon's out there somewhere.
Yes,
I hope he'll turn up.
I hope that as well.
Not that I don't think Cecilia wouldn't be a good leader, but Simeon, I mean, it's his thing. He was always he was always the person who was going to. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe one day he'll turn up and claim his place as the Trisfair Lord.
What about you? What are you going to do after all this is done? You going to get married?
No, I'm with Cecilia on that one.
Hmm.
I would much
I think
rather...
she laughs and says, "I think I'm with Cecilia on that one as well now."
Well, I would love to meet Merrin, and your little family. So, Merrin, is Merrin the heir to the Malfire lordship now?
Hadn't even thought about that, but yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll be in...
So, will you be Lady Malfire consort, as a sort?
I don't know. I'll have to work out whether there's any other claimants. who are going to be fighting with us. But considering there's 100,000 Trisfair soldiers who've just taken over Kaya Belt, I think we'll be alright.
Yeah, well, that will give you something to do.
Yes, well, I plan to try and make my way there soon. I need to see Mother as well. It's been a while.
Yeah, I would also like to make my way that way, but unfortunately, duty calls, as I'm probably going to go up there, and I point to the gloom.
You all see Henning slink in.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, and Cascus, I guess, as well. Alora says, right, well, I'm going to get back to partying for a little bit, but come see me before you go, yeah?
I will do.
Don't just leave.
I will try not to just leave.
Okay. I have something for you, so that'd be nice.
Okay.
She goes back off and dances with the Azera and a few soldiers again. Yeah, so you just sort of all stood to one side, now regroup to the party.
Oh.
Yeah, is there anything you want to do here, or is that it? This has
I
been
think-
like a whole day's worth of things, so it's going to be. Well, when we finish off, we'll come back for the next day.
Okay, but because I imagine we don't want to explain what's been
Yeah,
happening.
feel free to just have a chat for a bit. We've got 5 minutes. So.
Okay. So, how was the meeting with Prince Arthesius?
Surprisingly well. He seemed very good in very good spirits.
We have a plan for the trial as well.
Wonderful. Perhaps you can fill me in on the details a bit later this evening.
Yeah.
I've also had a word with Vance, and we are in agreement. We have an agreement.
Okay.
From
Oh,
to
so
this
you're-
agreement?
So you're on good terms again now, then.
Well, I have an agreement as in, he won't mess up the trial, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Right.
good. Don't go putting your faith in a man like that. He's done some very, very bad things.
Oh, I know.
I believe in you. You will do the right thing, I am sure. Twink in his eye.
Always, Cascus. Always the right thing.
I had a rather successful adventure, apart from the fact that I nearly got burned to death by a drake. But that was
Sounds like a fairly average day.
What? You were just going to get a box.
Well, where was I? So he kind of gets the box out from the tie and puts it on the desk. This is the box. I think it is at least. The soldiers were in the town, but they left at the end. It seems they looted it pretty thoroughly, but they did not find Cadell's secret kind of basement. There is still more to get down there, and I would suggest at some point in the next few days returning. However, it does seem that creatures of the gloom are probably going to be more common that way from now. Case in point, a giant drake, which I think was from the gloom, perhaps not, but it was being ridden by an elf. I guess an immortal elf. But it had this kind of bronze copper shield face thing, which reminded me of what we saw in the gloom a few times. But curiously, it was being used by an elf. That was new to me. It was
Could be.
incredibly ornate.
Could be someone working for Narsamel, maybe.
Perhaps, or Nasamel himself, but I do not see why he would be here. Silly thought. But I did not quite understand why he was here. Why it was here, sorry. It had its fun with many of the troops who were leaving the town, but I did not get the sense it was after anything in particular.
Maybe coordinating the flying bastards.
Perhaps a guess is as good as any guess, I suppose.
Nyx appears and says, "It has. We did used to use drakes in our officers in our military. So drakes would ride. Officers would ride drakes, and the regular troops would ride kiraxes. But that being said, an elf, it could be anyone. And the masks, the masks. I only know the masks from when just before Narsimel killed me, when I discovered that he had been creating these Gloomstalkers, and this was some mechanism by which he controlled people. So they are elves or goblins or whoever he decides to put the mask on. That becomes his, and he can command them as he wishes.
So, if you're able to remove the mask, potentially free him.
I never got that far. I was killed before I discovered that. Potentially.
As far as we know, removing the mask could kill them.
I mean, the alternative is just killing them anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Seems worth a shot.
I can have a look at this lockbox probably in the morning. Calcifer.
Just quickly though, you might want to go there yourself in the next few days and bring the bag of holding. Travel light, and be careful. There is more stuff down there. And he just kind of throws the stuff that he got on the table. This is all I managed to get with my not so dainty anymore fingers.
Fucking. Okay. Just. Alright.
Decent shit.
But I think the lockbox should maybe be given to... Now, as much as I would love to know what is in there, I think the key is probably not in... Well, I think we know who's in possession it may be in.
Okay, but...
And I cast detect magic on the box, please.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be magical.
Okay, but like... What if we looked in, though?
I think... I thought about this long and hard, and I was excited at first, but I do...
Calcifer just like slowly edges a crowbar out of the bag of holding, just like looking.
Next appears and says, "That's for Azolda. That was Cadel's last wish."
Okay.
Okay,
Right. Fine. Well, Cadel's not alive.
But Azolda is, and I think she'd be very upset if you open that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Cadel's not alive.
Yeah,
it's the new guy, but yeah, you're right, Nix.
Yeah.
Still though.
Calcifer just looks straight at Cyan. It's like, yeah, she'd be really upset if she knew it had been opened.
We're not opening the box. Nix is right.
All right, let's finish here, shall we, for tonight?
All right.
And then you can have that discussion.
Cool. Did you want me to put that stuff into the bag of holding?
You can do, but we can we can have a conversation about what we do with that. So.
Yeah, cool. Just feel free to over the week just decide what you want to do with it.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for playing, everyone. We'll end there for today then.
Cool.
Thanks for running.
Streamer for us, Richard.
Yeah, we'll do. See you next week, Russian spammers.
Bliat!